Riveting content. Empowering your life. Welcome to the Sphere. This episode is sponsored by KOG and Company. Are your unique gifts and talents changing the world? Do you desire to belong to a community of unity? Visit KOGpassion.com to learn more about the Unleash Your Dopeness movement. Looking to advertise? Join the Sphere's vast demographic reach of thousands of people all over the world. Send an email today to advertise@thesphere.tv or call us at area code 832-772-7789. Houston Housewives of Finance. For more information on increasing your cash flow, becoming your own money manager, and to schedule your complimentary personal finance strategy, contact the Houston Housewives of Finance today at 1-844-700-4463.
Thank you for tuning in to G is for Gentlemen. I am one of your hosts, Senor Wapo. Please follow me at Senor Wapo 713 on all social media platforms. You can go to my blog, check out what's popping. SenorWapo713.com. The G is a W for West Side. No, it's not really, but it's pronounced with a like a. Anyway, got my brother from another style, Mother Regis. What up, man?
Happy to be here.
Yeah.
As always, everybody get at me, all social media outlets, Mod Renaissance, MOD Renaissance.
Yeah.
Let's get it in.
Let's get it in, baby. How was your day?
It's good, man.
It was good?
Yeah.
Yeah. You enjoying the summer so far?
It's been good, man. I mean, it's always crazy. Everybody can't wait until the summer gets here. And then when you're in the middle of the summer, things just go so fast.
Yeah.
Like, things are just moving so quick. It's like, man, we halfway through July.
Right.
You know, we'll be.
Don't depress me, man.
I'm just saying we are. So you gotta live for the day and make the most of it.
Listen,
you know,
dress
well.
Dress well, like gentlemen's. Always, gentlemen
well.
always. I put an S on it. I said gentlemen's. I don't know if you heard.
Gentlemen's.
Gentlemen's.
Yeah.
So, but listen, in making the best of everything, man. You know, it's a great season for fashion. About 5 years ago, a group called. Well, let's back up. Let's not go to that one first, and let's talk about trends for a second.
Okay.
So you and I, we like to mix trends in intelligently. We talked about that last week, accessorizing intelligently.
Right.
But mixing in trends intelligently while keeping a grasp or hold of classic elements, right? The classic and iconic looks, right?
For sure.
One thing that you typically own is kind of that street dapper. Like that's your real, like that's where you like live.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
That's kind of like my medium point. I'm in the pocket right there. That's
exactly.
my pocket.
You're your pocket. Right. And so, you know, there are, for those of you, first of all, who don't know, for those who don't really know what street dapper is, kind of define that for them.
Again, kind of style is what you make it, but at the same time, kind of in between. So you've got a streetwear. So wearing, you know, like today, right now, I've got on camo chinos with sneakers, but I've also got on a vest.
A 5-pocket chino too. Y'all should see it. Y'all should see it on the leg, but it's okay.
You know. But no, so you have that, and then you add, you know, elements that are a little bit more dressy to make the street look more dapper.
Exactly.
More dressy.
Right.
Not way over the top. So you're kind of in between with both. So, you know, you're balanced. But still, like, I can go somewhere like an art show or a fashion show, but I can also, the place we like to go all the time, you know, we can go to Alley Cat and hang out and have a drink and listen
and a cigar,
to old school hip hop and have a drink. So to be able to do a lot of different things in one outfit.
Agreed, man. And that's kind of where I like to live as well. Kind of the street dapper, a little bit more European flair for me on the street. You know, I like a slimmer leg and stuff like that. But you know, we are akin.
You're just trying to show your height. That's what you're trying to do.
Well, listen, bro, I'm not trying to show my height. You taller than me.
I'm
like,
just saying,
knock
that's
it
what
off.
you're trying to do.
Listen, but when it comes to trends, right? There was an article released A couple of days ago, said that after several years when many fashionable men impulsively chased popular one-way fads, the industry is now recognizing a new breed of consumer, right? And that's the man who is looking for more classic elements.
Okay.
Right. So we've seen a resurgence, not a resurgence, but a surgence, rather, a surge of, especially online and with a lot of the guys that we've dealt with, really following the trend, being on trend. And I think we deal with that in our passion profession here quite significantly. People trying to be trendy and edgy and going over the top. But the article goes on to state that as men are getting more and more involved in style, right? As the years progress, you got the younger our little brothers are really, really trying to find their way in style. A lot of times earlier than we did. The trend isn't the best thing anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Well, just to interject on that, I think, when you talk about us and what we were following when we were coming up, obviously we're dating ourselves a little bit, but there were definitely trends. They just weren't high fashion trends.
Okay. Yeah.
Because
Touche.
When we were mid 90s, right now we see young men when we talk to kids. I know you mentor, I mentor. I coach high school age basketball kids, and they see how I dress, and some of those kids, oh, coach, I need you to help me dress for my prom or this or that.
Right.
Or I see how you wear your shoes and sometimes no socks and you roll your pants up a little. I like that, or that's different. Where for us, mid 90s, it was, NWA was coming. NWA was just kind of leaving a bit. Then you had Cube was out. Everybody's wearing Raider jackets, the starter jackets.
Yeah, come on, man.
You
wouldn't on it if you'd have a Bulls one.
Oh, come on, man.
Come on.
I mean,
or
so
Hurricane.
The White Sox or the Hurricane. So those were the trends that we saw, and it was really street brands before a lot of these companies started to kind of jump on. Oh, hold up, there's a lot of money to be made here because entertainers and the Bo Jacksons and the Jordans and these guys can really push our street brands.
Right.
So I wouldn't say I would strongly disagree.
Right.
But I do think that there's always been a trend. Yeah. The trend's just, it hasn't been as dapper as it is now because of gentlemen like yourself.
Here he goes. So, but I don't have the 5 pocket Cheeto on right now. It's camo. All right.
But you got a leather pocket. Okay.
Knock it off. So, and so one of the in this article on the New York Times, it says that a lot of the guys, there was a time where guys didn't really want to talk about their clothes, right? And we're in the days. It's a wrap for that. Like you listen to any music, I don't care what genre. Right. They're talking about at some point they're going to mention some brand, and so it's really interesting to see the resurgence. I think GQ for a while, GQ started out. They're kind of the Bible of menswear publications at this point. They started out focusing on the dapper male, but then as the trend move forward, they started going a little bit more street dapper. They started getting a little avant-garde even sometimes, but now they're coming back to the essentials and the basics. Why are they coming back to the basics, Regis?
In my opinion, I think in order to go forward, you got to know where you started. And, classic style is never, ever going to ever go out of style.
Ever. A blaze. That's why, I haven't worn, it's hot. It's 6,000 degrees right now. I haven't worn a jacket, in the past 5 episodes or whatever. But I'm doing it in ode to what they're saying. A jacket will always be in.
Waistcoat.
A waistcoat will always.
It's never going anywhere. I'll give you a really quick story. Most of the things that I've gotten, I was blessed. My father, my grandfather were very instrumental in those things because those were the images that I saw. About 3 years ago, my dad gave me this pocket watch. Just kind of handed it to me. Hey, man, I think you're able to appreciate this now. And I'm like, what do you mean by that? Well, my grandfather's from South America. So as the story goes, that was the first. It's not a fancy, it's not anything crazy. It's just a regular self-wind pocket watch. It has a few charms that he put on it, that my grandfather put on it. It was the first watch he bought when he came through Ellis Island. So my dad has had that watch this whole time, and then he felt like I was not of age to appreciate it until I was about 31 or 32. So, and I say that to say that pocket watch is still, as we say in Houston, so player.
So player.
It's so player.
So player.
Yes.
Listen, it's a pocket watch. It'll never go anywhere, right?
It's a staple.
It's a staple.
It's a staple.
A wayfarer.
Right.
Eyewear is a staple, right? Aviators, in terms of shades, are staples. Now, everybody can't wear them.
But they've been around since MacGyver, man.
Exactly. So it's one of those things to where I think GQ is going back there, and men are realizing that, listen, it's cool to be trendy. It's cool to have, a sort of an avant-garde, kind of a wild, weird look at times. Throw elements in there, but you can never go wrong with the basics. With that being said, this is also about 5 years ago. A CDFA, Council of Fashion Designers of America, started this thing called New York Fashion Week Men. And I'm telling you, I was excited, bruh. Look, I was so hype about it. And we're actually in the middle of the Men's Fashion Week right now. I think it's June. It was July 10th through the 14th.
I think.
Yeah. And so, I'm super. I've been following a lot of our blogger friends and contemporaries. Been keeping up with the publications and seeing what's going on online, just to see the collections, and it's really, 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 really cool, man. After several years, when it's been one of those things. It was the brainchild again of CDFA, and New York Fashion Week Men's is entering its 5th season, right? This time around, more than 50 brands. This is the largest ever. But over 50 brands will be showing in Lower Manhattan.
That's crazy.
This week. When it first started, it was like 7.
That's crazy.
Yeah, 50 brands showing their 2018 collections, spring, summer 18 collections, with winning the attention of editors and retail execs. Lower Manhattan will be the playground for this great celebration, is what I like to call it, right? And it's one of those things, man. I just love to follow these kinds of things, Regis.
Yeah,
I mean, I love to follow.
Yeah, and especially men's fashion. I mean, it's a thing where men's fashion has gotten a lot bigger, but definitely doesn't get that same attention as overall fashion.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. So super dope, man. It's super dope what's going on over there. And speaking of dopeness, this portion of the show is sponsored by KOG and Company. Are your unique gifts and talents changing the world? Unleash Your Dopeness is a people empowerment movement built to encourage the masses to operate outside of their fears and have the gall to recklessly pursue their dreams and passions in life. Join thousands of others as we unlock the greatness that dwells inside. Shop dope gear at KOGpassion.com. That's KOGpassion.com, and use coupon code DOPE! For 10% off exclusive Unleash Your Dopeness apparel. Act now. Sizes are selling out fast. And so, with what's going on in Fashion Week, I'm really excited to see a couple of brands, man. First of all, you have some heavy hitters. Perry Ellis is going to be there.
Of course.
I think I saw
Hugo Boss.
Hugo Boss is going to be there, right?
I think they're doing a big thing with Blake Scott. Some of those guys.
With Leo Chan, with Levitate Style, those guys.
The usual suspects.
Yeah.
So they're doing some things there. I think they're actually releasing a new fragrance as well right now, which I thought was pretty cool. Yeah.
So it's really important to see the big boys. Theory's going to be there as well. Love Theory,
great brand.
They had a big showing at Pitti Umo last week over in Florence, Italy. But who I'm really excited to see is one of our good friends, Jace Lipstein, with Grungy Gentleman. Grungy Gentleman is a really, really exciting streetwear brand. Street dapper brand, actually.
They are, but I just want to interject something on this that I think is so cool. So as time has progressed, as most of our listeners know, because, we've shared this, that I lived in New York in the early 2000s. So from 2000 to 2008, I was in New York. So, throughout college and right out of school, all of the fashion shows and Mercedes show, all of those things, everything was centralized in one space. Everything was in Bryant Park. It was not spread out where you had stuff on the pier and Lower Manhattan and different
Chelsea.
Now you have like all these warehouses and different things like that. So as things have progressed, people have forced the hand of Fashion Week and weeks and men's fashion And in fashion overall, like they forced the hand of change, because before, it was like, oh, this is so exclusive and nobody can get into the show, and everybody goes to this show, and this is really cool, but it's not for everybody.
Right.
So for the guys at Grungy, I give them so much props because of they've pushed the envelope.
They have.
I remember them coming down here for Houston Fashion Week and having, Chic from the Locks.
Yeah.
And that's one of the groups that really helped them push the brand. And having them perform and doing that is so different than what we're typically used to seeing. So huge props to them for that.
Yeah, super huge props for them. And Jace, he, for all of those who are business persons who are listening, if you look up this brother, man, guy by the name of Jace Lipstein, he's a master networker and collaborator, making relationships. So he has a new relationship with Mitchell and Ness coming up, right?
Yeah.
And so they're collabing with Mitchell and Ness right now. And he's he went to Indiana University. So, so from what I read in a New York Times article, what I read was that he's going to be integrating some Hoosier stuff.
That makes sense because they've done some things with the Knicks, and they've integrated a lot of stuff with the New York Knicks as well,
and the Giants. So make sure y'all follow. Y'all go online and y'all follow what's going on with Men's Fashion Week.
Absolutely. Speaking of following, I'd like to just holler at all of our Facebook followers real quick.
Yeah, and
also encourage others to subscribe to our show on all major platforms, including iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, and Stitcher. Review our show in iTunes with constructive feedback. Share this Facebook Live post and the entire show with your family and your friends. Donate. Please donate.
Listen,
we're not begging. We're just asking. Donate to our mission to bring enriched and inspiring content each and every week. The website to donate is www.thesphere.tv/donate.
Listen, we need that coin, baby. We need that coin. So make sure you stay tuned, everybody, to what's going on in Men's Fashion Week. You can just go online, Google Men's Fashion Week or New York Fashion Week Men's in New York 2017 and figure out what's going on with new brands, emerging brands. A lot of what I expect to see, some of the stuff that I saw was like larger larger overcoats and flowy aesthetics, but there are brands like Perry is never going to do that.
Nope.
Hugo Boss is never pause. Hugo Boss has the best button-down shirt in the game to me.
Speaking of that, that's Hugo.
That's Hugo, bruh.
Yeah,
that's Hugo. This man. Way to be modest, Regis.
Just saying. It is. I mean,
listen, Hugo. For slimmer guys, the natural silhouette and the cut of them. They even make their arm, even though the bodice is slimmer. Oftentimes the arms are a little larger. For guys who work out and may have, it's just a wonderful shirt. It's gonna run you, it's about $125.
They'll cost, but there's something to be said about quality.
It is.
So you make that investment. Not saying that you go out and you have to, everybody's budget is different. But I will say that there's something to be said about quality. Now, again, this is no knock on a lot of people are into like the Yeezys and Yeezy seasons and all that stuff, which is
Zebras
cool.
that just came out and all of that.
That stuff is dope.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, you have guys that are not willing to invest in themselves or invest in how they look. It's only about what's necessarily like hot and mainstream right now.
Right.
And what I'm saying is, like, when you mention Perry Ellis, like that's a classic brand. And the one thing I do like about classic brands is that they may not necessarily follow all of the trends, but you know what you're getting because the quality is in the fabric. It's in the craftsmanship. It's in what they do.
Agreed.
So,
and then when they do veer out, right, it makes it that much more special.
Right.
Like I have a Dockers last winter sent me some stuff. Never in my life did I know Dockers would make joggers.
Yeah.
They made varsity joggers with and it's sewed with a built-in crease into it. Like it's crazy. It's Dockers though. Like they're the guys that make khakis.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's what they're known for.
Exactly. So when a brand such as a Perry Ellis or a Ralph Lauren or a Hugo Boss steps out of their norm, it makes it that much more exciting.
For sure.
Right? So Speaking of exciting, man, Regis, I know you just mentioned back in 2008, you were in New York, but from 2000 to 2004, there was some exciting years for you because you played ball collegiately.
Yep.
And as a ball player, you're a taller gentleman, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not super tall, but you're 6'5".
Right.
And I'm just a little bit short. I'm 6'4". And so we have an advantage when it comes to fashion at times because people say that, things look better on taller, leaner guys.
Correct.
And I sometimes I challenge that, but let's just keep it with the trend,
right?
In that notion. And
so what are the tricks of the trade? I guess.
Yeah. So there are some tricks to kind of engage the eye a little bit, to kind of coax the eye, that you want to do, fellas. That you want to implement when you're putting your clothes on, right? Number one, okay. Listen, we always go back to this, but it's
fit.
Like. Fit.
Sit. Fit.
What else I'm gonna say?
Yeah.
Make sure that your clothes are well fitting. This baggy stuff.
Hold on. I don't mean to cut you off, but just to like reiterate this, there is a difference from fit and like
too tight,
right. Skinny, uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Your clothes should fit you properly. So even if you're a larger person, you can get clothes that fit you properly.
Absolutely. So you want listen, I think every gentleman should know their measurements. They're and I'm not saying your bespoke measurements because every tailor takes different measurements depending upon what they make. But what I am saying, you should know your neck, you should know your sleeve, you should know your chest, you should know your waist, right? You should know your length.
You realize you can even go to like a dry cleaner that does alterations, and most times they will be able to give you those measurements.
Just that.
You realize that?
Yeah. Simple. Know your fit, right? So that's the first trick. Like, it's really simple. The second one, though, is to keep your accessories up high, right? And the reason you want to keep them up high is because you make people look at you in your eye or up,
not in the areas that you're not comfortable with.
Exactly. So if you one of our mega brothers, you know what I'm saying? They got a little pushing down there,
and it's okay.
It's all good. You know what I'm saying? But you want to keep your accessories. You want to keep your pocket squares. You want to keep, like Regis right now has on a really dope Pegasus pen from Southern Gents. Shout out to Southern Gents.
Yes. Fola, what's up, man? Shout out to Fola.
Yeah, absolutely. And the guys
and the whole
over
crew.
there. And the whole crew.
Yeah.
You want to keep a nice pocket square. You want to keep everything high so people can look upward, right? Don't go too crazy with trying to accessorize down low or doing too much with belts.
See, that's let's touch on that real quick too, because I've seen a lot of guys that get caught up in the whole like, I have on a, if you're in the belt game, I'm not a big. I mean, I have a couple nice
Nori
belts.
got the guys what they call the good belt game.
Yeah. So if you're into like the Fendi belts and all the
Ferragamo,
you got the monogram and all that stuff. Okay, that's your thing. Like, go ahead. You got a Ferragamo belt.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny. I have a Ferragamo belt that looks like a regular belt, and it has inscribed on it Ferragamo, very small, so it looks like a regular belt. The Gucci belts with the G's and stuff. If that's what your thing, that's fine. I'm not knocking it, or the LV belts. That's cool.
Right.
But like you said, if you're a larger person, when you wear a T-shirt or a polo or a button-up, and you feel like you need to tuck the front of your shirt in to show off your belt, guys, look at me. Don't do it. Just don't do it.
Stop, man.
Just don't do it.
Listen. And so, I agree with you, Regis.
First of all, hold on. With you. Go ahead. Not even just the guys that have the midsection. In general, just don't do it. It's tasteless.
It's
wear things that you want to wear because you like them, but you don't have to. Have a little class. Act like you've been there before. So I don't necessarily need to show off what I have. It's just what I like.
And then what, we need to talk about that soon.
We will.
We need to.
I mean, if somebody asks me, like, we just happen to be talking about the Hugo Boss shirts, right? So I'm
right.
like, okay, this is actually, they fit well. This happens to be one.
Right.
That's it. But it's not I need 17 different things all over me with
big
prints
HBs
everywhere to show you what I have on.
And it's amazing because more of the timeless brands do less monogramming, and they do they don't really, the logos are really inconspicuous. Like, when have you somebody I'm about to go into class mode and then ask somebody to tell me something, but when is the last time you saw an actual Hugo Boss logo on some stuff.
The only thing I've ever seen, it's not even a logo. It just says Hugo Boss, which is on the tag.
You don't see, you know what I mean? So there's something to be said about that.
Of course it is. And I'll say this for anybody that's out there that has a brand. I hope they're taking notes on
scribble.
The proper ways to kind of push your brand. You know,
Yeah.
be classy about it. Be tasteful about what you're doing. So with that, this portion of the show is sponsored by The Sphere. Are you starting your business and looking for a place to advertise? Do you have a need to reach out to thousands of people across the world to build your brand or sell your product? If so, get your product placement and advertising needs handled right here at The Sphere. We offer a wide variety of content delivery platforms, including iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, YouTube, and Stitcher. Plus, we have a vast demographic reach within the United States, as well as modern countries across the globe. Our enriched content and inspiring dialogue, coupled with your strategic ad, is surely to hit the mark every time. Call us today at area code 832-772-7789 or send an email over to advertise@thesphere.tv.
Listen, call us now. We can push it out to some people.
Hey,
so they can really know what's popping. So, you know, what else is popping though, Regis? Also, when you want to keep, when it comes to making you look taller, you want to keep guys that button your jackets. When you button your jacket, you know, you want to keep the button buttoned or fastened that's above the navel.
correct.
Right? So pause right here. Never. Now look at, you looked at Regis earlier though. Look at my ball headed behind. Never ever button all your buttons.
Yeah, don't do that.
Never ever button all of your buttons. There's a couple of reasons why. Number one, it boxes you in and limits movement and is uncomfortable, right? Number two, for the larger guys, if you have on, you know, I'm not an advocate of more than, honestly, preferably more than 2 buttons. 3, okay, depending upon how it's cut, you can do. But if you're one of the guys that likes a few more buttons, you button the 6-button suit up, which you shouldn't have anyway, but I digress. Then that long line of buttons draws the attention to the midsection.
Correct.
Right? It's because it's a line that's just going vertical right up you, right?
And there begins to be a pull in the midsection.
And begins to be that
area.
pull, right? And so also when you sit down, there are some rules. Always unbutton your jacket when you sit down. Number one, most importantly to me, is because you don't want your button to pop, and then you got to sew it back on. That's irritating. You got to get on your hands and knees and find it and all that kind of deal. But in terms of making sure that you're dressed properly and you're elongating yourself, keep the button that's above your navel button. So the rule is, if it's 2 buttons, you button the top button. If there are 3 buttons, you button the middle button, right? Maybe the top button, depending upon how it fits and how it's cut. But you know, I think both of our preferences. I'm comfortable speaking for you on this, Regis, is a 2 button or 1 button. Period.
That's it. I'm a when it comes to blazers, I'm pretty classic.
Yeah, same here.
So usually any blazers I have that are 1 button are usually dinner coats. I have a few
after $5
$2, but I mean I have a few that are 2 button.
Right.
But then I, you know, especially like a ivory dinner coat.
Come on,
1 button.
Listen.
1 button.
One day we need to talk to the people the difference between a black tie affair and a white tie affair. You know, because people use. Anyway, that's a whole other conversation. So, what else?
Oh, man.
Want to no belts? Okay, so this one is kind of, people argue about this one a lot, but the reason why people say no belts, number one, is because you're as a gentleman, you want to make sure your stuff fits correctly. So go to the tailor. So I ran track in college, so naturally I have larger legs. Like my thighs are big, so I have to go up in size.
But smaller waist.
On the waist, but I still got a narrow waist. I'm a thin guy. You know, I'm a 33 in my slacks, right? In my trousers. So I have to buy maybe a 34 or 35, you know, depending on who makes them, and then go to the tailor and get them tailored in. So I don't need a belt to keep my pants up. Right. You see what I'm saying? Also, it's kind of fresh and it's kind of fly if you know what you're doing, to have a nice pair of pants with no belt on. The reason why people say don't use belts, I don't advocate it 100%. But the reason why that's kind of, I did include it in this list, is because it breaks you up. It
Okay.
divides you, right? So if you're a slim gentleman like we are, you can get away with it a lot easier than a larger guy, right? Also, number 4. Another part of number 4 is no long hair. Minimize the long hair, right? Because what happens is the long hair hides your neck,
Right.
and so our necks are, that's how we elongate ourselves. And also waistcoats for the smaller guys, right? So waistcoats is the fancy way to say vests.
Right.
So waistcoats for smaller guys, they break you up as well. Number 5, wear elongating patterns. No
Yes.
horizontal stripes.
Right.
If you're a shorter guy or a larger guy, horizontal stripes will make you look shorter
Or it'll make you look
wider.
larger. Correct.
Period. You want to go vertical stripes so the eye can go up and down. It's all about going up and down and scannability.
And but also to be careful of the patterns you choose.
Yeah.
Because sometimes a larger guy wearing polka dots, it could be a lot of polka dots.
It could be a polka dam.
Right. So not to like knock anybody or making fun, because we're definitely not doing that, but I'm just saying that there are certain things like again, like the stripes are great if you're going vertical.
Right.
Some guys can wear certain things and there's other things that other guys can't. And I tell people this all the time. It's like, even with thinner guys, I work out, but I'm not, diesel dude.
Yeah.
So you're not going to see me like the guy on the first Under Armour commercial with the tight, we must protect this house. That's just not for me. So I can't do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's not for me.
Yeah.
So we all have to know like what you can and what you can't do and what
Right.
works best for you. It's not, at that point, we've moved past the trends. It's about what's good for me.
What works for you.
There you go.
So know your body, man.
Right.
You have to know your body. Number 6, man, you want to wear skinnier ties. Now, you don't have to go with the really thin inch and a half to 2-inch ties. I'm not really an advocate for those.
Right. English Beatles ties.
Yeah,
something
English
like that.
Beatles. I think it's good for a certain look if you're trying to pull it off. But when you're building a wardrobe or you're curating your style, right? I think it's imperative that you get a tie that's 2 to 3 inches in width, right? And so, generally speaking, most ties are about 2 inches and 2 7/8, I believe.
That's right.
Inches, 2 7/8, generally speaking. And so, if you go with just the kind of the regular tie, you're okay. Point of order, real quick. You always want your tie, the width of your tie, to match the width of your lapel. That's the number 1 rule. So if you're going, if you have a peak lapel that's custom and it's really wide, you can go with a double Windsor and a wider tie, a 3 1/4.
Give it that flare.
Yeah, flare, because that's what you're going for. But you don't want a fat knot, a fist on your neck.
Right.
And you have a thin shawl collar blazer, right?
Or just like, a lot of guys, when we're talking about affordable brands, and we've brought up the Zaras and places like that, where guys will have the more modern lapel, which is thinner, and most times a notch.
Right?
You're not gonna have on that huge, thick, as far as the width is concerned, a tie.
Yeah, agreed, man. Agreed. So you want to make sure you just keep it thinner, and the reason it keeps it thinner because the thinner the line, the more of you they see, right? Number 7, you want to dress monochromatically, monochrome, right? Go all white, go all blue, go all gray, because if you do too many colors, sometimes it blocks you off. So if you do what they call color blocking, which I love to do, but I can get away with it a lot more because I'm 6'4". You do it as well. You're 6'5". If you're a shorter gentleman and you block the colors too much, what it does is it chops you up, right? Number 8, go shorter shirts. And when now listen, do a shirt check. Now, raise your hands real quick and make sure your neighbor don't show, right? But shorter shirts, what it does is if the shirt is too long, then it makes your torso look too long or your legs too short, right? And so shirts that go just 2 inches past the waist, I think is good, right? 3 inches, 2 3 inches past the waist is good. Because again, it doesn't break you up. It's all about keeping the eye and keeping the look really long.
It's fluid.
It's fluid. That's the word. Thank you. It's fluid. 9, you talked about this last week, Regis. Is no breaking your pants.
Right.
Not a whole bunch of fabric bunched up at the bottom.
Right.
Right. And number 10, wear V-necks. And the reason you want to wear a lot of guys, bro. Yeah, a lot of guys are not like hip to V-necks. Don't want to wear it. It's so interesting to me. Right. But what it does is it shows your neck. Like right now, I have the second two buttons I do this when I'm casual. I have a beard, so it hides my neck automatically. Right. So when I'm casual and I want to drop it open to make sure that people see my length and my height, I open it up a little more, and it's a little bit, it's a little sexy.
Hey man, summertime.
Wifey likes it, baby.
Summertime, man.
You know what I mean?
It's summertime.
Summertime. What?
Summertime.
Summertime. I'm sorry. Now, so these are some things that we want you guys to always do, and to make sure that you implement in your style. Listen, everybody wasn't blessed to be 6'12" like Regis, right? Everybody wasn't blessed to be, you
realize you did say 6'5" like 3 times already, but that's okay.
Listen,
now I'm 6'12". Okay.
Yeah, you 6'12", aka 7
You're
feet.
an inch shorter. That's it. Just an inch.
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
Whatever. But just to talk. What if you 6'12"? I'm 6'11". Now,
there you go.
What?
I mean,
who says
at this
that?
point we'll just be, we would in the league we'd be point guards.
Point guards, baby.
Yeah,
point guards. You know what I'm saying?
Guards.
Old point guards.
Oh yes, I'm backing you down, bruh.
Right.
That's it.
Chauncey Billups,
hey,
baby.
That's it. Just get the job done.
Get it done. Hit the open 3. Keep it moving. Play D. Right.
Yep.
So our producer's dad is 6'8". Pops, what's up, man? We hope you're watching. And so, these are the things that we want you guys to remember to do and to continue to do, to elongate you, to make it. Now, listen, the number one thing is, be confident in who you are. And if you like being the short guy, kill it. Be the short guy, right?
Style is what you make
it's
it.
what you, listen, Professor Regis has spoken. It's
just one of the better quotes, my grandfather used to say. Style is what you make it.
Style is what you make it, man. Yeah. And speaking of grandfathers, man, we're in an age right now. Like, for those of you who are watching, you see this face crown I have on me, right? This big beard that my wife won't let me cut. It's my face, but I can't cut it. I don't understand. Anyway, and so, but your grandfather and our grandfather's day. No, that wasn't gentlemanly, right?
Mm-hmm.
You had to be clean
cut.
Had to be clean shaven.
Clean cut.
Maybe have a mustache.
A little bit
of a mustache.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That was
not
it.
the Steve Harvey joint that he used to have. Listen, that brother got to cut that porn stash. Steve, what up, man? I love you. You're killing the game, bro. Style is impeccable. Businessman. Like, at least thin it out some. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, it's all fun. It's all jokes. But, there's a proper way to shave, Regis.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There's a proper way to shave, and so let's just go through these things real quick. Right?
Yeah,
the first thing you need to do is prep your skin.
Yes,
is prep your skin. And the reason you want to prep it because you want your skin to be soft. You want your skin to be warm. You want it to be moist.
Well, I know we're running through these fairly quickly,
mm-hmm.
So let's just give a quick what is that? What is prepping the skin?
Yeah,
So
prepping the skin really is the skin should be lubricated and the hair should be soft. So prepping the skin is you can use actually an emollient or there are products out there that will allow you to do that. In fact, and a lot of them aren't that expensive. Mm-hmm. And so if you come across something that is expensive, what you can do, however, is contact the Houston Housewives of Finance, because this portion of the show is sponsored by them, right? Did you know that only 4 states in the U.S. offer financial education, or 33% more than 77 million of Americans don't pay their bills on time? 39% of Americans carry credit card debt from month to month, and 39% of adults say they don't have enough savings. Do not become one of these statistics. Let Houston Housewives of Finance advise you on increasing your cash flow and becoming your own money manager by scheduling your complimentary personal financial strategy. Contact Houston Housewives of Finance today at 1-844-700-4463 or email us at info@houstonhousewivesoffinance.com. Ask us how you can participate in complimentary financial literacy workshops near you. Houston Housewives of Finance are the new faces of the new age of financial services. So when you prep your face, right? Mm-hmm. When you prep everything that you have going on, you want to use a pre-shave lotion, and you want to apply the pre-shave lotion on while you're in the shower,
mm-hmm.
right? Because what happens is the steam begins to open up your pores,
yep.
So it makes the follicles easier to cut, right? Softens the skin, so it lessens the abrasions once you start putting the blade on your skin. Number 2, you want to apply shaving cream.
Mm-hmm.
CREAM, cream. Listen, no knock no knock to the gels and the aerosol cans. Listen,
certain things have to be done the right way. No shortcut.
Exactly. Listen, because you don't want to get cut. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's one of those things. Like, use a cream. You're gonna pay a little more, but your skin will thank you, right? And especially the life will thank you when they rub your face.
Let's touch base on the fact that obviously we know there's different grades of hair,
right?
And obviously with more coarse hair, this is something that's it's imperative because some guys have really fine hair. You can just shave it, do whatever, and you don't get no breakout, no ingrown hairs, things of that nature. But there is definitely a process with more coarse hair. And I've seen so many guys that just have like the really bad ingrown hair. It's like, man, you got to take your time, dude. Take your time and do it the right way.
Absolutely. So when you take your time, you want to take about a nickel's worth, a size about of a nickel of cream. Put it in your hand. Get a little water. Take a brush and you want to lather it up
like a hairbrush.
Yeah, no, not a hairbrush. Oh, okay. and that's number 3, right? you want to use a badger brush, not number 3, but this is a badger brush. So a badger brush is the little brush you see in the barbershops, right? Use a badger hair, very soft, but it lathers that cream with the water really, really well, right? You want to apply it to your face. Right, and then number 3, you want to wait 2 minutes after you apply it on. Now, when you wait that 2 minutes, it's a good time to take care of your oral hygiene. Remember, you prepped your face in the shower. You're out of the shower, right? You got the towel on. You put your cream on. Now brush your teeth.
Right,
brush your teeth. 2 minutes. Listen. Dentists recommend that you brush your teeth for 2 minutes
thoroughly.
Brush it rigorously. Get those gums. Get that tongue right, and then. You want to, after you do that, you can also, in that 2 minute though, say maybe you brush your teeth beforehand. What else could you do, Regis?
Choose your blade.
You can choose your blade. You could clip your fingernails. Yeah. You could cut on, your favorite episode of G is for Gentlemen real quickly.
You definitely do that.
You know what I'm saying?
That'll give you an idea of what what that wardrobe is going to be like.
Absolutely.
What should I be pulling out?
Absolutely.
What should I be pulling out?
You know what? That's a good idea. We might need to make it like a little... I need to talk to you offline, brother. You coming up with some great ideas today, right? And number 4, you want to choose your blade,
right?
Now you want to choose your blade. Now, what kind of blade do you want to choose? There are a lot of different blades. You have cartridge razors; those are the disposable kinds. You have single blades, which is what I used to use and what I prefer. You have a straight blade, which is old school, and I'm not ready
straight
for
razor.
It. I'm not ready.
That's my thing.
Yeah, I'm not ready for it.
That's my thing.
I'm scared that I'm like my daughter's gonna come hit me in the knee or something, and then it's a wrap for me.
Close the door, lock it.
Yeah, no doubt. How about that? So, then you want to take a couple passes. The first pass is the 5th step. You want to go over it in short strokes, right?
But hold on, real quick with those strokes, because I've heard and seen guys, being in locker rooms and after games, and guys are going out, and I've literally seen guys with a blade like going up on their face, and I'm like, no, man, you gotta go down.
You gotta go with the grain of hair.
Go with the grain.
Now, if your grain goes up, which I've never heard of,
no,
that's different. But you want to go with the grain of hair. And the reason that you want to go with the grain of hair, because when you go against it, it tugs the hair.
Correct.
And then once it tugs the hair, that's how bumps can start after the
ingrown hairs.
Get ingrown hairs,
exactly.
Razor burn. So go with the grain, generally down, right? With the grain of hair. Short strokes, light pressure. And the reason I say light pressure is because while disposable razors are, they work, right? They can work when they cut the hair. You want a heavier razor that has some weight to it, and let the weight of that razor plus your hand just guide it down. That way, with a disposable razor, oftentimes you have to push really hard.
Right, because it's so light. It's plastic.
It's so light. It's plastic around the casing. So you want to make sure you get, invest in a one blade or some kind of single razor that has a little weight to it, right? And then no backtracking. So once you've gone over a section, don't go back over it again. Right. In that same let go to the chin into the neck.
Let that part of your face sit for a minute so that it doesn't get irritated.
Exactly. And then after you do pass 1, get you a nickel size of cream again, apply it again, right? And then go over the second time with even shorter strokes. Now, This is why you want to use cream because it's thicker, it's more lubricated, and you're putting the blade on your skin twice. Right. But you're getting the closest shave possible. This is another reason why you want to use. You don't want to do a whole lot of pressure on it, right? And then afterwards, you want to apply. You want to rinse with cool water, right? That seals and closes your pores, right? Shocks your pores. And then number 8, you want to apply aftershave. Now listen, look here, look at me again. Don't drown yourself in no aftershave. You hear me?
It's called the light dab.
Yeah,
Like,
boom, boom, boom.
That's it.
And honestly, you don't necessarily have to use aftershaves with alcohols because oftentimes the alcohols mixed with the scents can get into your skin and irritate your skin.
Correct.
So you may want to use some rubbing out, some isopropyl green rubbing, not the white, because the white gonna make you cuss everybody because it's gonna hurt. Right? Use the green. I'll get you a little a rag or a cotton ball and dab it over. But then get you an aftershave that has essential oils in it that's gonna replenish your skin.
I have 2 things for what you just mentioned, and really quick. I know we have to move on.
Yeah, go ahead.
With the green alcohol, which I think is great, I would recommend taking a hand towel, put that entire hand towel in the sink, and get it extremely hot. Wring it out so that's damp, and then soak it with the green alcohol. Lightly wring that, and then you can pull that all the way down on your face.
Wow.
Your entire face. So
Okay.
that heat, after you close your pores, that alcohol gets into the pores with the heat, and it soothes the skin.
Yeah.
Because if you do have skin that gets irritated really quick, it'll soothe your skin. And then after that, one of the best products out, in my opinion, is the Art of Shaving.
Absolutely.
Their aftershave,
Absolutely.
done.
Done. Absolutely. I actually use the auto shaving on my head.
Done.
That's the only thing I really shave.
The lemon, whew,
Yeah.
that's my thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So you want it, but it's replete with essential oils though.
Right.
It's not alcohol based. It doesn't rip the moisture out of your skin.
Right.
It puts it back in. That's what an
Right.
aftershave is supposed to
Right.
do. Right. And so, these are the things we want you to know when it comes to shaving. It's essential, man, regardless of how you wear your facial hair. If you're not one that needs to shave all the time, like me, I trim the hair, but I have to get to this neck, right? I gotta get to this neck because it'll be an issue.
Oh yeah.
I gotta get to this head. I'm bald, so I use the same methods even on my head when I'm shaving my head.
Of course,
because
it's
it's
still skin. Exactly.
Period, man.
Yeah.
Period. And so, Regis, what else? What else we got going this week, man? It's been a hot week for some music, man.
So I mean, for this segment for Culture Kings, this week's rotation, I've had Grateful by DJ Khaled, which is pretty dope. A little bit more poppy than I was expecting, but still very dope. Gotta have the J in there still. 444 is gonna be in my deck for a while.
For a while, bro.
He said this on the R. Kelly self-titled album. Every time you order a wine, you find there's more to find. This album,
There's more to find.
man,
Every
every
cut,
time
man.
I go back,
I have a new favorite
what is
every other
going on?
day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then my third would be Sunday Selections Volume 8.
Look, hold on, before we talk about Sunday selections, Marcy Me is doing it for me right now.
Oh, man.
Marcy Me, like second to last record on 444.
yeah,
How
yeah.
he's going back to it. He's just talking about where he
the
came
roots.
from, to the roots.
It's the roots, the beginning.
But he's giving so many shouts out to everybody in Brooklyn.
right.
But with the Sunday selections, tell him about that though.
So, I mean, Sunday Selections is something that we created through our blog, through Modern Renaissance, where we go out and we kind of shine light on the DJs. So we're showing love to DJs kind of all over the country. We've had
How
people
dope is
that perform from Houston, Brooklyn. The last one that we just illustrated, shout out to Etika. She's a DJ who's originally from Corpus, but she's been out in Brooklyn and she's really, really taken off.
Yeah.
So we basically, the concept of Sunday Selections was find a DJ and tell them to create their own playlist that they would record live as they mix.
Wow.
And just say, what do you depict as your perfect Sunday mix?
Yeah.
And that's why we call it Sunday
So
Selections.
where can they find these Sunday selections?
modernrenaissance.com, modrenaissance.com.
Okay.
And as well, it's the same on all social media platforms and on our SoundCloud as well.
That's dope, man. So who you watching out for right now, man? in terms
Two
of
brands. One that I've been on for quite some time is Harry's of London, which is an exceptional footwear brand. They've just kind of they're kind of getting into that simple silhouette sneaker.
Yeah.
But they do a great job on hard bottoms.
Oh.
So I mean, these tassel
Look at that
hard
tassel
bottoms
loafer.
in a blue with that brown, that honey brown sole, is wonderful. And then they also do sneakers as well. They're doing like these very simple silhouette
Wait, hold
sneakers.
on. Put that back on the screen. I gotta take a screenshot of that one. Hold on. A picture. For those of you who are listening and not watching, please go to www.thesphere.tv. Thesphere.tv. I'm sorry. /G 4 gents. So you can see this shoe. Wow.
Yeah, great shoe.
Yeah, man.
So I mean, they're doing simple silhouette sneakers as
Yeah.
well, in a couple of colors. They're getting some kind of wild colors as well, like as you can see, really dope. You can wear that
Single
with
stripe is hard, man.
I mean, you can wear it with sneakers. I mean, you can wear that with jeans, chinos, khakis. I mean, it doesn't really matter. And then the other would be a brother out of New York that we've actually mentioned on here, but I said we got to give this guy some shine because he's doing some really big things.
Really
Solomon Chancellor, and that the leather goods that they do are pretty awesome, man. A guy that has a really cool story, who was super easy for us to work with, and again makes really nice quality. This is a duffel bag, gentlemen.
Right.
Like I said before, you do what you want. I'm not the man bag guy, but that's a weekender that is on point.
It is.
That's on point.
And I tell you what I love about it too is he sources everything here. So he gets his leather out. I can't think of the manufacturer, but it's out of Chicago, the Chicago area.
Okay.
And so when we were working with him, the last collaboration that we did, he was telling me about it, and he said that he really wants to keep those jobs here. So I applaud that.
Absolutely.
Man. I certainly applaud that.
Made in America.
Yeah, made in America. And it's at a great price point for fantastic premium leather.
That's actually something I left out too. That's actually probably the biggest point is quality leather at an affordable price. You know, and I would just say too to guys stressing quality over quantity, and also, there are so many brands out there. Like, people will say, oh, well, I need to get those Gucci's, and it's not a knock on Gucci or Louis Vuitton or any of those high-end brands. Those are great brands,
right?
But there are also really good brands. Harry's of London makes a hard bottom that's $400 or $500, which sounds very expensive, but really high quality shoes, hard bottom shoes. But they also make sneakers that are $250, $200, which it's quality leather.
Absolutely.
So you got something that's gonna last.
And with I was doing some research earlier with a lot of the high end brands, Regis. I was doing some research on their resale value. Listen, they're about 4. They get you about 70%. That's about as much as you're gonna get on a resale. So easy. And you get some brands that, I've seen stuff that goes for $15, $18, $2,000, $3,000, and it resales for $350.
Right.
Like what?
Right.
Because the leather is
right,
but they've done a fantastic job marketing,
of course,
over the years, and you believe in the brand.
Again, my last point would be not to fall in love with a brand because you see someone wear it. Don't get me wrong, advertising is magical, but at the same time, you need to like what you like and what fits you. Do I have a pair of Gucci shoes? I've got a couple. To be honest, I don't even wear them. Because I'm just saying there are other brands that fit me and what I like and what I do.
Agreed.
So much better.
Agreed.
We talked about Yucatan last week.
We sure did.
That's one of the brands that I love what they're doing.
Right.
I love the stuff that they produce. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a mainstream brand. Eastland is old school. I've got 2 or 3 pairs of really nice Eastland boots.
Their leather is
it's top notch. So, and you have guys that'll say, hey man, Eastland. Now, shout out to all my New Orleans people. I know y'all know about Eastland.
Right.
But past that, a lot of people don't necessarily know about Eastland because it's a bit old school. But it's quality, and quality is gonna last, and quality is classic.
It is.
It's gonna be here.
It is, man. And so, guess who else is gonna be here? Just for gentlemen. So make sure you always tune into us, man. And listen, we thank everybody for listening and watching.
For sure.
Remember though, you can either keep it gangster
or you can keep it gentleman.
But always keep it G.